Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
How can the SEC protect investors by allowing them to invest in Bitcoin without knowing who created it? How on earth could that possibly be protecting investors when they don't even know who created it? Or I said they supposedly don't know who created it. The answer to that riddle is that it's impossible. There's no way on the planet Earth that it could be considered protecting investors to tell them it's okay to invest in something and that they don't know, and they don't know who created it. Because that person could show up at any moment and tank the price. Any moment. In fact, the creator or creators of Bitcoin could show up at any moment, and the whole essence of the reason they called it a commodity and not a security disappears out of the blue, just like that, because all of a sudden you have an issuer, right? That's not protecting investors. This right here is, in my opinion, the Ethereum free pass, that's based on one huge lie. This is the biggest lie. That's the second biggest lie. So think of the risk involved in not knowing. Now, let's switch gears here. This guy is a former BlackRock executive. His name is Edward Dowd. I want you to listen to what he says.
The global debt bubble is at its peak, and it's becoming apparent, given what's going on across the globe, that we're at the end. And due to that fact, we're going to see lots of crazy things in the financial markets. I think we're going to see the credit markets become unhinged, the equity markets become unhinged. The Fed got a reprieve from COVID when they were able to, at the cover of COVID, print 65% more money to keep this thing afloat. But we're at the end days here, and a lot of what you're seeing in the response from global governments is what I believe is setting up a system to, under the guise of medical tyranny, to prevent the riots that are going to ensue once this thing all unwinds. That's my personal belief, and I watch what people do know what they say.
All I'll say to that is, wow. Okay, now, wanted to show you this and make a point. That's the debt. We talked the other day about how the U.S. national debt crossed 30 trillion. And I wanted to make a point here because I was there during the financial crisis of 2008, and I think that's when it all changed. During the financial crisis of 2008, I knew many people in real estate who declared bankruptcy. Just before declaring, many of them ran up their credit cards because they knew their credit would be ruined when they filed. And so they were basically getting all the cash they could get, basically getting everything that they could possibly get before they knew they would not be able to get any more, okay? And I said, we are watching the controlled bankruptcy of a nation. Now, last time that we had a financial crisis in 2008, all of the liquidity locked up, and that was kind of the story of the thing, is that it all locked up overnight. Remember, it's not a coincidence that Bitcoin just happened to come out right in the middle of the financial crisis. Not a coincidence. Just happened to come out right in the middle of that. And I've told you what I think about that many times on this channel. Now I want you to watch a couple of clips. The first one is from Brianna Madigan from Ripple. She's not there now. I'll show you where she is now. The other is from Chris Larson, chairman of Ripple. Watch this.
And the last key attribute of a healthy liquid market is really resilience. And that is getting at the ability for a market to recover from a significant systemic event. So if there was some sort of a market shock, the ability for order books to get back to normality and tighten back to similar prices to where they were prior to that event relatively quickly.
10 years out on the financial crisis, we still don't have the infrastructure perhaps to prevent the next one. And I think this is where digital assets can really help, because an efficient digital asset can really solve some of the key problems in global liquidity. The world's got trillions and trillions of dollars tied up in liquidity just to get around how clunky the movement of value is around the world. if with a really efficient digital asset, something like XRP, and that's what we believe will be the most efficient, you can now reduce trillions and trillions of capital from being tied up. So you can make those transfers instantly as a bank or as a payment provider or as an enterprise without having to have money pre-positioned all over the world.
All right, now let me show you, just so you know, Brianna Madigan was head of global institutional markets with Ripple. She's now CEO of TradeBlock. I also want to show you something else because I showed you this video right here of the guy from BlackRock. Many of the people listening to me may not know this. Did you know that the director at BlackRock, he's a director now, he is the head of DLT and digital assets at BlackRock. Do you know where he was before that? That would be strategy and product marketing at Ripple. Okay? Now, I don't know why I put this in the middle of this. I'll play it for you anyway. This guy says, I never had an opinion about Jim Cramer until he had Gary Gensler, SEC, on, and they were mad that the average American were able to make 9% with their cash in DeFi. They have chosen to be our enemies. Remember this in the future. They are not fighting for us. And I said, remember, these are the same people that talk openly about imposing negative interest rates on us.
Terrific! How the heck can anyone earn 9% on their cash? Something's got to be going on here that you and I don't like!
Yeah.
Terrific!
That guy ought to be ashamed of himself for a lot of reasons. Now, I want to make this point, and I make it right here. So many people think Bitcoin and XRP and digital currencies are about green candles and making money. Well, that's the fun part, folks. But the stakes are actually much higher. Digital currencies are and always have been about the petrodollar. It was all done to prevent World War III. I believe this. This was done for two things: the petrodollar and / world reserve currency, and what was going to the transition away from the U.S. being the world reserve currency. And it was about systemic risk. 2008, they saw that and they're like, we got to figure out how this never happens again. So I don't know if this video is going to play or not. If I get a copyright hit on this, you're just going to have to go into my Twitter feed at Digital Asset Buy and watch it. But I pulled this video after I saw this tweet from Gold Telegraph. Breaking news: Russia has agreed a 30-year contract to supply gas to China via a new pipeline. Will settle the new gas sales in euros. Watch this video. Many, especially you young people out there that don't know the history of this, your standard of living is because of the U.S. dollar and its status that it's not, in my opinion, going to be able to keep.
The standard of living of all Americans can be traced back to here, the vast oil-rich deserts of Saudi Arabia.
In the early 70s, after the Arab crisis happened with the oil embargoes, OPEC basically tripled the price of oil to the Western world. And at that time, America realized that they were vulnerable because they were importing about 70% of all the oil they consumed.
To secure a reliable foreign source of oil, U.S. President Richard Nixon sent his Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger to Saudi Arabia for a secret meeting. The result was a pact that still stands to this day.
If Saudi Arabia, which at the time was the world's largest producer of oil, would sell the oil in US dollars, America would defend Saudi Arabia and make sure the House Assad would stay in power.
As a direct result of this U.S.-Saudi agreement, all other oil-producing nations also adopted the dollar as the de facto medium of exchange. Demand for it increased exponentially all over the world, and soon it had a new name: the petrodollar.
Your currency is only as strong as the demand for it, just like anything else, the supply and demand. Why the petrodollar is important, it causes a demand for the US dollar. A lot of Americans don't realize that over 70% of all the $100 bills in the world are actually outside of the US. There's more $100 bills in Russia than there are in America.
This stockpile of US dollars in countries around the world is because oil is bought and sold using the greenback. If oil starts trading in non-petrodollars, such as gold or a basket of currencies, or if China and Russia start trading in yuan and ruble rather than US dollars, that demand isn't there. And the way of life for the average American will be done. It will be worse than the Great Depression.
All right, so that's what it's really all about, but you don't have to take my word for it. Jimmy Valley, who's been in the oil business, I think, his whole life, did this thread right here. How petrodollars affect the US dollar. He's got an Investopedia. Number 2, ExxonMobil leaves Dow Jones, August 2020. 3, Iran, China signed 25-year cooperation agreement in March 2021. 4, China creates its own digital currency, a first for major economy, April 2021. 5, Biden will withdraw all U.S. forces from Afghanistan by September 11, 2021. 6, Russian rainy day fund to get rid of U.S. dollar assets, June 2021. 7, Russia, Saudi Arabia sign military pact and chaos in Afghanistan, amid chaos in Afghanistan. 8, Russia's Gazprom Neft signals shift away from U.S. dollar payments in China, September 6, 2021. Number 9, I love this. Val Hill Capital proposes buyout terms to Fed on behalf of participating token holders, September 13, 2021. 10, U.S. could disconnect Russia from SWIFT payments to deter Ukraine invasion. Folks, I'm telling you, pay attention. All right, TAIG, interesting. He's talking. This is a thing about Mike Novogratz he put in here. And look, I'm just showing you what he put out here. Okay, I don't know any of this. I'm just reading to you what he said. On July 31st, 2018, Galaxy Digital Holdings completed a $305 million arrangement transaction between Canadian company Bradmer Pharmaceuticals, Galaxy Digital LLP, and First Coin CC. Galaxy Digital LP was represented in the United States by Sullivan & Cromwell. There's that. Cayman Islands, Galaxy Digital, Bradmer Pharmaceuticals. Galaxy Digital was represented in the U.S. by Sullivan & Cromwell, a team comprising these guys. Then it goes on. Private placement raises gross proceeds of approximately $305 million to solidify Galaxy Digital's dedicated blockchain and cryptocurrency merchant and banking platform. Not for dissemination, some wire service or whatever. Let's see what we have next. Galaxy Digital, this, First Coin Capital Corp, blockchain, digital assets. Okay, that's that. And then he goes down here, he says, we all know who worked for Sullivan Cromwell before and after his tenure at the SEC. Jay Clayton joined Fireblocks Advisory Board, whose client is Galaxy Digital. You can't make this stuff up. Let's see here, there's Jay Clayton, Galaxy Digital, Fireblocks, Galaxy Digital, there you go. All right, next. I showed you this the other day where there was that wormhole attack, okay, the hack of $320 million. I want to remind everybody, if you do not have a virtual private network and a antivirus on your computer, get one today. The guys at PureVPN have an 82% off that they've got going. You can find the link to this in the description of this video, so go check that out. Finally, Gary Gensler. Look at this. Curious about how our whistleblower process works? He's given us all the steps how to blow the whistle. Step 1, whistleblowers submit tips to the SEC. So I submitted this. I said, can this count as step 1? And I put the video, and then Digital Perspectives also came in. I'd like to make a whistleblower request, and he put the same Joseph Lubin disguising whales video. Now, Jake Chervinsky, who's an attorney at Blockchain Association, he says, when I was in private, he tweeted this right, I think it was right after Gary Gensler's tweet. 2:29, what time was this at? Yeah, he literally must have seen this and then he tweeted it, and that's what makes it significant, folks. Because don't make no mistake, Jake Chervinsky's been seeing the Ethereum videos we've been putting underneath his profile. When I was in private practice, I helped clients submit whistleblower complaints to federal agencies about serious violations that deserved attention. Unfortunately, these mostly go into a black hole. Agencies should focus more on whistleblowers and less on harassing good actors. Often, after massive frauds and scams are revealed, we learn that regulatory agencies were tipped off by whistleblowers far in advance and yet did nothing. This was the case for Enron, Madoff, Theranos, and many others, yet still today, way too many complaints go uninvestigated. Whistleblowers take great personal risks to do the right thing and report violations to the government. They risk retaliation and often have to spend out of pocket to hire lawyers to file complaints effectively. It's about time for agencies to take these whistleblowers more seriously. Gary Gensler has thousands of whistleblowers that have been showing him all this stuff, and he is ignoring them. And now it's on record. He's not going to be able to say that he didn't know.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.